And since I came on, can you do me a favor, Colin? Sure, you name it. What's up? I want to whip over to Yellowhead and play the Saturday night poker tournament, but my wife, she wants to watch a movie. So can you stay and watch it with her and I'll go play poker? All right, you got it. Good luck. I hope you run good. You too. And just so you know, she likes foot rubs. Okay, this is getting a bit weird, man. Go win the tournament and we'll talk soon. Welcome to another episode of All In with Collin. I am your host, Collin Capone. Thank you for being here. Today, I interview myself about my experience playing my first World Series of Poker main event last year. I won a satellite on Club GG and got to live out a bucket list item and play the $10,000 main event. In case you are unaware, my real name is Collin Lawyer. Collin Capone is my poker alias, and it has been since it was my first online poker screen name on PokerStars back in the day. So now that you know that, let's get to the interview. All right, I'd like to welcome my next guest to the show. He is a recreational poker player from Edmonton, Alberta, who works full-time in sales and grinds in his spare time. He is married, a father of 3 teen boys, and according to his Twitter/X profile, he loves Slurpees and beef jerky. Well, he won a satellite and got to play his first ever World Series of Poker main event last year. And according to Hendon Mob, he is the 7,016th ranked Canadian tournament player. I am very excited to welcome Collin Lawyer to the show. Collin, welcome to All In with Collin. How are you? I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for bringing up my embarrassing Hendon Mob. I'm sure that'll make Poker.org happy. All right, Collin. I'm going to admit, I did see Poker.org giving you a bit of a hard time on X. What happened there? Well, it started with a joke tweet I made about the poker media watching someone take chips off someone else's stack during break with a funny gif. Shortly after the controversy around Maurice Hawkins being awarded a pot incorrectly with a straight when a one-card flush was on board, and nobody noticed except for the tournament reporter who didn't say anything until later. So I don't know if you remember, but it led to a big discussion online. And I think afterwards it came out they didn't even notice until they were watching the video later. But when I made the joke post, it was under the assumption that the reporter chose not to say anything. So, quite a big difference there. But anyways, my post seemed to hit a nerve with Poker.org, and they came at me a bit on Twitter, and it led to them saying they would be waiting for me with balloons to cover my first ever Hendon Mob score whenever that came. All right, I saw that, and you and I both know that you've been playing poker for a long time. So do you have a score on Hendon Mob? Yes, I do for sure. And it's not a big Hendon because as you mentioned, I have 3 teen boys and I work full time, so I don't get a chance to play as much live poker as I'd like. That's why over the years I've played so much online because it's just been so much more convenient for me, and I love it too. But for the record, my first cash on Hendon was in 2009. And my most recent was this past December in Vegas. So yeah, Poker.org, feel free to send me those balloons. Okay, so you said you got 3 teen boys. So now that they're getting older, are you hoping to return to play more live? Absolutely, that's the plan. I still work full time, so I'll still be limited to when I'm not working, but I do hope to get more weekend live tournaments and the occasional series in when I can. Maybe take a few days off work here or there. I love to grind every day. I'd love it. But you know what? Kids are expensive and I need a steady paycheck. And, unless someone wants to pay me to do content full time, this is what I got to do. All right, Colin, I totally understand. Maybe more than you know. All right, so tell me, how did you get into poker? Well, I started playing cards at family get-togethers, like Christmas, Easter, those type of functions. My aunts and uncles would each show up with a jar of change and play for nickels and dimes and quarters. Occasionally, I'd sit on my dad's lap and get to play for him, throw the money in and look at the cards. So I remember first learning poker there. They played a variety of games, but that got me kind of interested first. And then in high school, we were doing our own poker games at some friends' houses, also for change. And then I really got into it after watching Moneymaker win and Rounders. So, similar story to many. Okay, Colin, so you've been playing for a long time. So what's one of your earliest big wins that you remember? Well, PokerStars had the NAPT going on in Vegas years ago. They've since relaunched it, but during the original one, they were running satellites online. I remember I had $100 online on PokerStars, and I registered this last minute $33 rebuy satellite to Vegas for a package that would include your the buy-in and the hotel and some spending money. I remember getting very deep. I think I had rebought once and then there was an add-on that I didn't even know about, and so I didn't even have enough money for the add-on, so then I had to reload like $50, buy the add-on at break. I remember I just got married and my wife was going to bed, and I said, "Oh yeah, by the way, if I win this, I have to go to Vegas next week to play." She's like, "Cool," but I don't think she actually expected me to win. And of course, I ran like the sun and shipped it, and I had to wake her up to tell her that yeah, I was going to Vegas. Oh wow, that's awesome. So do you remember the final hand or anything? I think I got it in with 7-7 versus 5-5, flopped to 7 and locked it up. Oh wow, must be nice to run so good. So did your wife go with you? No, since it was like very last minute, she couldn't get it off work, and my boss actually liked poker, I remember. So he was actually quite excited for me. So he changed my holidays around and I got to go. So I did go solo. I had a friend who tried to come, but the flights I remember at that time, last minute, were they were insanely priced. And so yeah, nobody could come. So I went solo. So what hotel did you stay up? Where did Stars put you guys up back then? Yeah, I had a nice suite at the Venetian for a week. And how much was the buy-in? It was 5K, which was big. Because probably back then my biggest buy-in was like $100 live. Oh wow, yeah. So yeah, that's a big difference. How did it go? I mean, I had fun, but the poker I got cooler day one, and yeah, so it didn't turn out to much on the felt, but it was great. It was still a great time. Did you run into anyone famous or anything back then? Yeah, so they had a welcome party for everyone. Actually, T-Pain was performing, and I remember getting to the event, and I was walking up actually, and Daniel Negreanu was walking with a friend, like right at the exact same time. We were walking towards the elevator, and I remember feeling, oh wow, this is like crazy, right? Because back then, very excited to see Daniel Negreanu. He's still is, one of the goats, right? Then the elevator door closed. There was just the three of us in, and just as it's about to finally shut, a guy's hand gets put into the elevator and the door opens, and in walked World Series of Poker main event champion Joe Hatcham. Oh wow, that's pretty sick. Did you get a photo or anything back then? Did you have a cell phone that had a camera? I did get a photo. I think it was D-Neg's buddy took it with me and him and it was my digital camera that I bought. That's how long ago this was. And then yeah, we all walked into the club together. People thought I was with these guys, so like people were handing me drinks and everything right off the bat. It was pretty cool. Later on, ran into like Christian Slater. He was there. He was like a Stars ambassador or something at the time. So yeah, all in all, it was very cool. All right, that sounds amazing. And all right, let's take a break from the interview with Collin and talk about a new feature that came out yesterday on GG Poker that I saw a bunch of people discussing, and it piqued my interest. Okay, so they've introduced time bank cards for players. So at the start of your session, you'll get a bunch of time bank cards. Depending on the stakes and the tables, it'll vary how many you get, but you'll get a bunch of cards, and when you run out of these time bank cards, you can buy 30 more seconds of time bank for one big blind. Okay, when I first saw this, I'm gonna admit, I thought, what a greasy, slimy way for GG to try to make more money, charging you for time. Like how ridiculous. But then I read the whole one big blind cost is actually split amongst the players at the table at the end of the hand. So they're not taking any money from it or raking it or anything. So it actually looks like they're trying to speed things up. And I think most recreational players will love that. If you've ever just been one or two tabling and you got some guy at the table mass tabling and slowing everything down and always going into time bank, it's really annoying. You might want to just like exit out, right? Like you got other things to do. So if you're a mass tabling reg, I think you might hate it and it might take some adjustment for you. But if it speeds the game up, I'm on board. So what are your thoughts on this? Let me know on X or leave a comment here and let me know. All right, now let's get back to Collin. All right, so now flash forward a lot of years later to last year, and you were grinding away on Club GG. Tell me about that. I saw you making a lot of posts about that site before you won. Yeah, typically, if I see something that I think is a good value, I'll share it on Twitter or promote it, right? I had seen a lot of people winning on Club GG, and, the nice thing was, yeah, you just pay your monthly subscription, you get to play as many satellites you wanted. So, for someone like me, not having to worry about paying extra costs or not having enough for an add-on like back in the day, right? I just got to play as much as I want, and thought it was a good way to win my main event seed. Okay, so how many people did you have to beat to win your seed? I took first out of 1961. Wow, that is sick. So just winner take all? Yeah, in that night, yeah, there was just one package. Wow, any memorable hands? I remember I was the chip leader. It was the six max. I think we were down to seven. I got it in versus the second place stack with Ace King versus Ace Jack. I think he had a jack, and then just it was devastating. I was left short. Would have been the overwhelming chip leader, but instead now I'm the short stack with seven to go. but then I, got in. I doubled up. I think I doubled up twice quickly. Made a nice bluff, picked up a nice pot in a three-way pot. Eventually, I came all the way back, and then I got heads up versus the same guy that had coolered me, and I had him slightly covered again. And then the very first hand, I coolered him. I got kings, and he had jacks, and they held, and I won. That's awesome. So, what were you doing? Were you playing by yourself, or what was going on? No, I remember it was game one of the second round of the NHL playoffs. We were watching as a family. We're huge Oiler fans. We're playing the Canucks. So I'm watching the game. I'm playing casually on my phone, and then suddenly there's like 15 left. I'm also in a group chat with some buddies, other people who had won on Club GG, and they were all railing me. And then when there's like 15 left, I remember thinking like, "Holy shit, this is a real sweat. I better focus, right?" So then when I made the final table, my kids were all there, and they're all kind of rooting for me and railing me. Other than my youngest, he was kind of anti-railing me for a bit because he's still kind of attached and didn't want me to go away for a week or anything. But yeah, they were all railing me. And then when I won, everyone was cheering, high-fiving me, my wife, my kids. It was euphoria. They all knew how much I loved poker and wanted to play the main event one day, so they're very excited for me. Even my youngest. So yeah, it was an incredible moment. Okay, so fast forward now, the main event. Who'd you go with? Where'd you stay? Okay, so my buddy Eric, who goes by the name Flow Junkie online, he's a fellow Canadian who lives in Montreal. He had been firing some satellites on GG Poker. I think he started off from the $10 level. He ended up going all the way and shipped the package shortly after I did. So we decided to room together at the Horseshoe and got to hang out all week and walk around and stuff. Oh, awesome. Getting a roommate's great since it cuts down on your costs on your room a lot. Someone to hang out with, support each other. Did you guys do much walking around? Like, didn't they set a heat wave the week of the main? Yeah, actually, it was insane. Almost 50 degrees Celsius, I think. And it was like as soon as you went outside, it was like hitting a wall. And it was all the time. It didn't cool down much at night either. I did foolishly get Eric to walk with me to the MGM one day, and I probably regret that. Definitely wouldn't recommend that. Just take the train next time. It's cheap and very quick. We did also walk over to In-N-Out Burger a couple times though, and that was definitely worth it. Oh man, you're making me jealous. I love In-N-Out Burgers. They're so damn good. What's your go-to burger there? Definitely the double double with fries and iced tea. I don't know if you know this, but I heard you can ask for well done fries there, and they crisp them up a bit more. Have you tried that? Oh man, I didn't know that. That sounds like a game changer. Definitely doing that the next time because their fries, like, yeah, they're fresh and stuff and they're good, but I think that they're usually a little underdone in my opinion. So crispy fries, that sounds awesome. Okay, so you and Eric stayed at the Horseshoe. Have you stayed there before? No, I've been to Vegas lots, but never stayed there. Since it was my first main, I had been reading a lot of tips. I listened to your episode with Kev Math. He gave a lot of good insight for the first time main eventers. One of them was to stay as close as possible. So we did that. The rooms, yeah, they're basic, but the ability to run up to the room on break to use during the bathrooms instead of lining up with the herd was totally worth it. Also, we played different day one. So on dinner break, he had food ready for me and I did the same for him. So that was nice to help each other out. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, and definitely shout out to the amazing Kev Math for all the incredible tips and wisdom he gave us and continues to give the community. I love that you support each other during breaks and had some dinner food ready. Like I've always heard, it's a nightmare, on breaks, stampede, like you mentioned, going to the bathroom and trying to get a quick snack in. So having someone there to assist you, that's brilliant. Yeah, it worked out perfect. So yeah, I did the one day and he did the next day, and made sure we had lots of water and drinks and snacks, so it was all good. Okay, so what was it like when you first arrived to register? How did it feel? Did it feel different than registering in one of the regular tournaments you played? It was a bit overwhelming at first. You dream about something for such a long period of time, and then when it's happening, you got to just try to be present and take it all in. Everything was cool just from walking in, seeing all the signage at the Horseshoe, to walking up to the register counter. As I mentioned earlier, I've been to Vegas many times and, I've seen the WSOP going on, but knowing I was going to be playing in a couple of days, the main event, yeah, it had a different feeling. It's hard to describe. Love it. Okay, so did you play anything to warm up or did you go right in cold to play the main? Yeah, I know. The first thing I did was when we were walking around that night when I got there, I ran into Maureen Bloch. Not sure if that's exactly how you say her name, but Maureen B. She runs Globetrotting Poker, and we ran into her in the hallway, and she said she was on her way to play the $200 daily deep stack, and they were still in late reg, so I went and fired that. Didn't get anywhere. Kings lost to A7, and the guy was screaming, "It's coming on the turn," and yeah, boom, ace on the turn. Anyways, I played a few smaller ones like this, a couple of the Moneymaker events at MGM, but just yeah, I wasn't able to hold in the big moments. So I got warmed up, felt good, but didn't get anywhere or very deep in my warm ups. I know that feeling more than you know. Okay, so I've heard they had the GG Poker Lounge. Did you get a chance to check it out? If so, what did you think? Yeah, we did. We went there. They gave all of us qualifiers a bag of goodies and merch to wear. The room itself is very nice. A lot of good seating. They had drinks, water, some pop, soda, snacks in there at various times, even some sandwiches later on during the days. So that was very cool. Maybe it needed a bit music or something. It kind of was lacking in that area, I thought. But yeah, overall, it was very nice. Okay, so you got some poker merch. I've always found this stuff to be hit or miss. How were the GG close? Okay, so yeah, I was hoping for like a nice hoodie, but they gave us like a coat, which felt kind of like it was like a raincoat. It was noisy, so I didn't really wear it. I got a shirt that looked something like Psy, who sang Gangnam Style, would wear. Didn't really suit me. And a nice sweater, which is nice, but on me, it looked like a belly shirt, so not the best. But when I did get home, actually, my wife put it on, and it actually looks great on her. So she got herself a new GG Poker sweater. Haven't heard Gangnam Style in a while. So did you end up wearing that belly shirt to the main? No, I couldn't pull that off. So they had also given us a bunch of patches. So I just put some of those on the clothes I brought, and yeah, felt way more comfortable. Well, I do love swag, and we're heading into rain season here. So if you don't want that raincoat, it's hanging upstairs. Go get it. Hey, don't tempt me. Okay, anyways, before we get into the actual main event, did you get a chance to see anyone famous or people you admire in the poker community? For sure, a bunch. I went into the Poker Or Lounge, saw Jesse Fullen was there, so we had a great chat. I saw Kev Math a few times, made sure I gave him $20. I know that's the rule. Shout out to Shaniac for that. When I went to the MGM, they were having the Moneymaker tour there, so I got to meet Chris Moneymaker. Hold up. You met Chris? Yeah, man, I did. And yeah, he was really nice. Damn, I'm so jealous. We've had some good banner over the years, and I had been doing this Moneymaker video series, trying to get him to come to Edmonton when he was with Poker Stars. Then COVID kind of killed it, but stayed kind of friendly with him, and he actually came on the podcast. But yeah, definitely want to meet him in real life. Anyone else? Yeah, Eric and I were eating at a bar in MGM, and John Party and Bet on Drew came in, so it was nice to meet them. We both followed them since the Thirst Lounge days. Damn, Jay Pards and Bet on Drew, two more legends who were both on this podcast. Would also love to meet them. So yeah, I'm getting real jealous here, man. Also, when Moneymaker was on the feature table, I went over to Rail and was watching that for a while, and Dara O'Kearney was there, so we had a nice chat. Wow, all the legends. And Dara, I don't know if you know this, but he was also on this podcast, and his episode is the most listened to one of all. Oh, damn, Collin, if only you were with me, you would have met all your previous guests. Hilarious. Okay, so this time you had a camera phone with you. So were you taking a lot of pictures with poker pros? No, not too many. I wasn't doing that. I did, take the one with Moneymaker because, how can I not, right? I took a couple, but one I didn't mention that I did. So one night, one of the days that I didn't play, I was walking through the corridor of the Horseshoe where the poker rooms are, and it was late at night. It was almost empty, but right in front of me was Johnny Chan was walking. So I did stop Johnny and said hello, and he took a selfie with me, which was, awesome, right? Johnny Chan, man. Come on, right? And then almost immediately after, I found out a guy I know actually just busted Johnny in the main, and he had posted a photo online of the bust out hand. So then I felt terrible because here Johnny just busted the main, was walking down the corridor and runs into me, and I want to take a picture with him. So I feel terrible now still. But yeah, what a gracious guy for Johnny to be in that kind of headspace and still stop and take a picture with the fans. So yeah, Johnny frickin' Chan. Wow. That's a great story. All right, Colin. So tell me about your main event day one, game day. What'd you have for breakfast? Ooh, yeah, the important stuff. I had poached eggs, bacon, toast, and tea. Dinner break wasn't going to be for a long time, so thought it was good to get in a good meal because hold me over till then. Smart, smart. I like it. I like it. Okay, so now you get to your table. you're about to sit down and play the $10,000 World Series of Poker main event. Did you recognize anyone? I did not, which at first I thought was really good. I've always heard about how soft this tournament is, so I was expecting a bunch of amateur players early on. Sounds good. Okay, do you remember your first hand? I got dealt King 10 offsuit on the button. Everyone folded to me. I raised, and the blinds folded, and I took it down. All right, chip leading your table after one hand, off and running. Nice start. So, what you heard about this tournament being so soft early on, was that accurate? Not at all. I think so much depends on your table draw, and I quickly realized I did not get the best draw. I had a few online pros from South America, local pro who lived in Vegas and was grinds everything. Just a bunch of solid players who all came to play. All right, so yeah, never easy. Okay, so how did the day go for you? It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. I ran ace into a flop set of nines early and lost a bunch. Could have lost more, but I just check called river there. But yeah, I just kept getting like top pair, not being able to hold, running into two pairs. Just kept ending up with second best hand all the time, flush over flush, just stuff like that. And then I was card dead for a long stretch and just was like never able to get anything going. Very disappointing, to be honest. It was a long grind, and yeah, I busted last level of day one. Oh, that's rough, man. Sometimes it goes like that. Unfortunately, it happened for you in the main event. I did see, I was watching the broadcast on Poker Go, and I saw Jeff Platt interviewed you on camera. So that's pretty cool. How was that experience? Yeah, that was a highlight. Also very nerve-wracking at the same time. This like big camera shows up at our table and everyone's wondering what's going on. And then Jeff comes over. I got like 10 big blinds, and so, he whispers saying he wanted to talk to me. Is it cool? I made a joke about him being, coming to finish me off because he's known as the Grim Reaper, but it was very cool. I wish I would have been crushing it and had stacks and stacks at the time, but wasn't meant to be. Maybe that'll be next time, but it was very cool to be interviewed by him for sure. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you got the chance to play and to be interviewed by Jeff, and you got to complete a bucket list item. That's amazing. How did your roommate Eric finish off on his day one? Sadly, he actually also busted the last level of day one. He was kind of had an up and down day, and ended around the same time as I did. We grinded for like 12 hours and we were done. Ah, damn. Well, at least you guys were there to support each other. Yeah, he was a good roommate for sure. We hung out for, next day, it's a couple hours at the pool. We played some other satellites. He won one, so that was cool. But yeah, no, he's definitely great to have him as a roommate. All right, Collin, now fess up. Did you guys get out of line or anything? I know you got 3 kids and a wife, just like me, and I know if I got a week away from them, it'd be pretty tempting to let loose and get a bit wild. So did you? Yo, come on, man, I can't answer that. What if my wife is listening? That's actually a good point, considering we are the same person and I would be snitching on myself. So maybe let's leave that. And yeah, I want to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And since I came on, can you do me a favor, Collin? Sure, you name it. What's up? Okay, I want to whip over to Yellowhead and play the Saturday night poker tournament, but my wife, she wants to watch a movie, so can you stay and watch it with her and I'll go play poker? All right, you got it. Good luck. I hope you run good. You too. And just so you know, she likes foot rubs. Okay, this is getting a bit weird, man. Go win the tournament and we'll talk soon. All right, that's it for another episode of All In with Collin. I hope you enjoyed it. That was weird interviewing myself. I'm not gonna lie. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was easy enough to follow along. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but let me know. Just an experiment, man. So just trying it out. So let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll be back soon with an all new episode with a real guest.
All right, he hosts the All In with Collin podcast. He's going to need to win a few All-Ins. Collin, stand up for me, please, for a quick sec. Been a rough start.
It has. I hope you're here to bring me luck, not finish me off.
Exactly. We're going to turn things around. About 7K, but we love a good comeback story. Do. What's the experience been like?
It's been great. Everything since I've been here has been awesome. Table's good. Everyone's playing really fast, which has been a huge surprise. You hear all the time everyone being slow, but this table's been really good.
You seem to have a ton of support on social media. I asked the people who I should talk to, and pretty strong wave for you. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate the support from everybody, and hopefully I can run it up here, and later I'll thank everybody. But I do appreciate all the support, and shout out to everybody in the Club GG chat group that we've been railing each other going along. So yeah.
That Club GG crew, man, they go hard. Best of luck rest of the way. We're here for the comeback.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Collin.